We meet Tommy with a bag on his head. Not exactly the warmest introduction, but fitting for the kind of man he is. A fixer for MTEX Oil and Gas, Tommy's the guy they send when things get messy. Negotiations, bribes, damage control, whatever keeps the company's name out of scandal. He'd just come off a delicate truce with the cartel, convincing Jimmy, their volatile contact, to stay out of MTEX's routes and business. For a while, it worked. Until 6 months later, everything goes sideways. One of the company's planes explodes. Turns out the cartel had stolen it and used it to smuggle drugs, ending in a fiery crash on the road. Tommy assumes it's going to be his usual keep it hush-hush kind of thing, but he soon realizes it's not going to be easy, because all eyes are already on the incident. To make things worse, a second disaster strikes closer to home. Tommy's son, Cooper, who just joined the pipeline crew, barely survives another blast while working in the field. His entire team dies on site, and the families of the victims turn their grief into rage, blaming Cooper for walking away alive. So now, Tommy is fighting on two fronts, fixing things for his employer Monty, and keeping his son safe from the crew's family and friends who think Cooper's to blame. Tommy has always had a bad relationship with his son, doesn't really think he would amount to anything, but he advises Cooper to go back to school and do something else with his life. But what Cooper wants is to be a landman, a chance to finally prove himself to his father. He tries to do the decent thing, visiting the dead crew's families with flowers, but they're not impressed. Still, one of the widows, Aliana, softens toward him. When Cooper starts helping her out around the house, he gets jumped by the cousins who think he's overstepping. After that, he ends up staying with Aliana indefinitely, and together they hatch a new business idea, buying dried-up patches and drilling horizontally to make them profitable again. Tommy's ex-wife, Angela, who left him after the 2020 oil crash, which bankrupted Tommy but made his boss, Monty, rich, is back in town. She originally left because Tommy was drowning in debt and had no time for her, but she returns to fight for him because, at the end of the day, he's the love of her life. They ultimately find their way back to each other. Coming back to town to rekindle things with Tommy also means losing her current husband, Victor, who gets petty. He exercises the prenup and leaves Angela with nothing. Their daughter, Ainsley, is also in town with her popular boyfriend, Dakota, who ends up being a jerk who was only with her for her body. Ainsley wants the trophy wife lifestyle, so she quickly upgrades to a linebacker named Victor, who seems genuinely good, even helping Ainsley and Angela cheer up the elders at a retirement home. Maybe this one is love. Tommy's professional woes worsen when he learns that wells are running dry and equipment is failing. The same deadly negligence that killed Cooper's crew. But the company owner, Monty, refuses to pay for repairs because he's tight with money. The insurance company sends a liability lawyer, Rebecca, who has no oil law or litigation experience, signaling their intent to pin the blame on an easy target. Rebecca initially considers pinning it on Tommy, given how illegally he operates, but Monty shuts that down. Instead, she drafts a bottom-of-the-barrel offer to the widows of the deceased crew. Cooper steps in, challenges her, and forces them to raise the settlement to $1 million for each family. Rebecca manages to win MTEX's insurance case, but not the litigation. The court order forces Monty to pay the widows himself, which he can't afford. The stress sends Monty into his 5th heart attack, and this time, he doesn't survive. In his will, Monty names Tommy as temporary president of MTEX until the company is sold, and executor of the trust fund for Monty's children. The profit from the sale would go to them, so at least they'd be taken care of. He also makes Rebecca part of the team, knowing Tommy needs someone to ground him legally. But Tommy's not ready to fold. MTEX might be broke, but they've got one last card to play, a special contract called the Golden Ticket. It's a deal that lets a bigger investor front them $200 million, while MTEX handles the drilling and shares the oil revenue. If it works, that $200 million could turn into $1.4 billion, wiping out their debts and saving the company before the company comes knocking. It's a bold, all-or-nothing move, and Tommy's betting everything on it. Because if oil prices crash or the deal falls apart, MTEX is done, and Monty's legacy dies with it. That's why Tommy takes Rebecca out to the patch, to show her what's at stake before she takes on the new lease case. This is when the cartel's representative, Jimmy, comes back with a vengeance. After the plane explosion, Jimmy demanded reparations for his burnt drugs and kept harassing the crew. Tommy solved the problem by letting the military train on the land, which scared the cartel off, until the military accidentally bombed some of their men during a drill. Tommy left them to clean up their own mess, and Jimmy never forgave him. Now it's payback time. Tommy is kidnapped, and Jimmy forces him to watch as he prepares to ignite gasoline and blow up 2 oil wells. Before Jimmy can finish the job, the actual cartel shows up and kills Jimmy and his crew, revealing that Jimmy was operating without direct command. They offer Tommy friendship, which he refuses, telling them they must stay away from each other and only act friendly when absolutely necessary. Will Tommy's plan to save the company work? We'll find out more in Season 2, but it's obvious this is not the last we'll hear of the cartel.